Well, I am super pleased to So I am super pleased to introduce Carrie Rigo. I met Carrie when I was in the other Rotary Club, where she's still a member. And Carrie is one of the most fun people I know. She's got a huge, wonderful energy about her, which is just a lot of fun. And actually, with the cartoon characters up here, I thought she should have brought her superhero cape today. Because she does have one, at least one. And t-shirts with them on them too. Anyway. So Carrie is a social media trainer, technology consultant, author, and speaker with individuals, businesses, government, nonprofit. She educates people, implements tools, and trains staff on new media. And she's just a total social media whiz. So I'm really looking forward to hearing her today. She's also the County of Sonoma social media staff trainer and instructor at Sonoma State University Extended Education, San Jose College of Community Education, Windsor High School, Napa Sonoma Small Business Development Center advisor, and North Bay Business Journal and Northern Independent Journal columnist. So she comes to us with a wealth of experience and a wonderful personality, and I'm really happy to introduce my friend Carrie Rigo.
Thanks for having me. I tend to have a lot of energy this early in the morning. I'm going to try not to blow you out of the water. So I regularly speak at assemblies, the conference, different clubs, and because social media is what I do for a living and I'm passionate about it, it's my personal Rotary mission to help as many Rotary clubs as possible tell the story of who we are. Now, I want to give you a story that I wasn't expecting and it surprised me. I was having a conversation with my 9-year-old, and we were talking about Native Americans. And she said, well, I don't know any. So, of course you do. You're a native-born Californian. You know far more than you ever imagined. You just simply probably aren't talking about your ethnicity in class. And I realized what she was thinking of was the television version, the Hollywood Indian, is what she was thinking about. And that she didn't know anybody that looked like that. And I realized that the way Hollywood tells the story of Native Americans is how many Americans think of this particular ethnicity. And it's so varied and so wide and so nuanced that there's no way for people that are outside of the culture to understand. I came across a fashion designer. Her name is Bee Yellowtail. And she is Northern Cheyenne and another nation that I can't remember at the moment. But when I saw that she was using fashion, something that's seemingly from a tech geek, I think of fashion as not impactful, not that important, decorative. A lot of the words that people use to describe my passion, not that important, silly, not impactful. So she's using a cloth and thread to tell the story of her culture, to show that they are beautiful, present, vibrant, strong, empowered. But the most important word is present, because most people speak of her culture in the past tense. These are some really beautiful people, some beautiful cloth. She's telling the story of her culture in what I, in a judgmental way, may consider a silly medium. Does anybody in here think of social media as silly? Absolutely. Very much like the pen or pencil that we write with. It can create Calvin and Hobbes, or it can create a peaceful manifesto. It's a tool. What I want to tell you is that people outside of our culture don't understand Rotary. They don't know who we are. They generally have a false impression of what we do and what we're about. We cannot rely on Hollywood to tell the story of the Native American. We cannot rely on non-Rotarians to tell the Rotarian story. This is our culture, our language, our traditions, and it's important that we tell that story. So social media is an extremely important tool that allows us to do that. Alec Ross was previously the senior advisor for then Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton. And I love this quote, "Technology takes on the values and intentions of its users. It is inert until you make it act. It will do what you want it to do." So if it's silly, sometimes that's just a reflection of that person being silly. If it's deep, it's a reflection of the user. I can't assume even the Prime Minister of England understands what social media is. A few years ago, when London was in the middle of riots and the city was being burned by disenfranchised youth that had no hope, no money, no jobs, no education, and no more patience, when the Prime Minister said we should shut social media down because it's at fault, because Twitter went and set fire to a building, because that's what happened. So even when a Prime Minister doesn't understand what social media is, I can't assume that everybody in this room understands it. So I always bring a definition with me. Social media use web-based technologies to transform and broadcast media monologues into dialogues. So really what I want you to remember is that it's conversation. It's not a broadcast tool. It can be used that way, but it's not very effective. It must be on the internet. That is the basic rule. And then it must be, where's my button? And it must be shareable. There's a lot of argument about where social media began. There's no right answer. This is a fluid situation. I generally consider MySpace to be the origin of current day social media. And by the way, MySpace still exists. Many people are surprised to hear that. It still does what it originally did, is expose young bands or bands with no large backing to receive plenty of attention and have people listen to their music. It's still very effective at that, but it is unfortunately an industry joke. So I wanted to give you a snapshot of what's happening today. In my industry, hour by hour, minute by minute, things change. Like tectonic plates, something shifts. But right now, Facebook has 1.44 billion monthly active users. Does anybody know what the biggest, most visited website in the world is?
Google.
Yes, Google. Thank you. Number 2 is Facebook. It is the number 2 website. So Twitter, at 302 monthly active users, they receive 500 million tweets a day. Do you remember when CNN was the upstart, the young company on the block? CNN is now considered to be the most powerful news network, but the CEO of CNN says we can't compete with Twitter. Can't do it. That's Jeff Zucker, formerly at NBC. Instagram, now this is the golden child. This is the one to pay attention to. Facebook put all their chips into this bucket, and this is what they're betting on. If Facebook, the number 2 website in the world, the largest social media network on the planet, if they're betting on this horse, you should watch it. It has 300 million monthly active users, and we see 70 million photos a day. If I had to chuck all of these off the island and keep just one, I actually keep LinkedIn. It's the one that affects your bottom line in your business, but the one I open first and the one I spend the most time on today is Instagram. Some people want to know, by the way, I'm 38. That's always useful. I'm technically too old, if you listen to the rules. I don't really like rules. So with Pinterest, we have 73 million monthly active users. And if you want your audience to do something, the first channel, the most important channel that's going to get them to go somewhere, go to your website, learn more about becoming a member, anything you want them to, buy tickets for your events, you're going to be using Facebook. That's the number 1 traffic driver. But because Facebook is so crowded, Pinterest is actually number 2 and is extremely successful. So if you sell a retail product of any kind, you really absolutely need to be on Pinterest. Pinterest is for planners. YouTube, with 1 billion users, they actually see a 50% increase year over year over the time watched. And now with videos, we have long form videos. Anybody want to guess what how long a long form video is?
10 minutes?
2. After 1 minute, 45% of your users abandon your video. The remainder, 60% will abandon after 2. YouTube is now the old folks channel. Not really. But it's considered long-form video. It's owned by, anybody know?
Google.
Google. LinkedIn, with 364 million users, they don't give us monthly active users. This is the one that has to do with business. No puppies, no kittens, no unicorns, no bacon. It's all business on LinkedIn. And this really is the one that I would keep. There is no competitor to LinkedIn. LinkedIn and Facebook are almost identical in function, but completely different directions do they face. So this is definitely the one I keep because it affects my business. It's also the #2 most trusted website when I'm looking up information about your neighbor or your business. It's the one I believe second to most. Anybody want to guess what #1 is? Wikipedia, absolutely. Wikipedia is the most trusted website about you. Most average people don't have Wikipedia listings. So if you're a well-known person, then Wikipedia is #1 for you. But if you're not very well-known and don't have a Wikipedia listing, then LinkedIn is the deal. That's the one you need to know. That's the one you need to use. So I wanted to give you some benefits of using social media. Not everybody thinks of all of these. Most think of how you can, if you are a for-profit driving sales or leads, if you're a membership organization like we are, then it's really about how do we get people to our events, how do we support our cause, how do we get people to donate money. So I wanted to give you a full glance of all the things that it can do. It really does enhance branding and awareness, and this is where Rotary needs a lot of help. I've been in Rotary for 5 years and been involved in a lot of organizations who spend a lot of time focusing on branding. And what I consistently hear is that people don't know who Rotary is, what we do, what we're about, what's important to us, or what we look like. My club is going through a re-release of a new template, WordPress template for our website. And I did a review of it and looked at the photos. And I said, there's one photo there that could actually be racially sensitive. It was a Caucasian person wearing dreads. I said, let's not use that on the front page. I normally don't like to say use my photo. Last thing I want to do is say, yeah, we'll put my photo on the front page. But guess what? How many categories do I fit? Young, female, multi-ethnic. I am, unfortunately, the only person that fits that category. We do have young, male, multi-ethnic, but we only have a few faces of multiple kinds and colors. It's really important that people see that we are not one person. Generally considered, this is not a knock and this is not negative, but we're generally known to be a gentleman's club over a certain age of a certain ethnicity. We need to show our rainbow, we need to show our people, we need to show who we are. If we allow other people to tell our story, the story will come out wrong. So it's really important to understand that people don't know who we are. We cannot assume that they do. We need to tell them who we are today. I don't know about your club. My club has gone through some massive membership changes just over the last couple of years, and our average age has dropped. We just really have broadened. So even the photos we took a couple of years ago aren't necessarily reflective of what our club looks like today. We're a living organism. Our clubs are alive. If we forget to water them, if we forget to feed them, prune them, and tell them they're pretty and we love you, those plants don't grow. It's important that we show people who we are and what we do. I have a personal saying, Rotarians doing, not eating. I really don't want to see your meeting photos. I almost never show a photo on the social media that I run for my club. I almost never show a meeting because that's what the average person thinks of, but that's not what we're about. Meetings are part of our administrative and social function, but that's not our goal, so I don't want to focus there personally. Building the community. Now, we have a lot of friends of Rotary. We all know some supporters in our community that aren't necessarily in our club, but we couldn't do it without them. So it's important for us to call out those that help us, that love us, that take care of us, give them credit, give them respect for what they do, and build a community. Sometimes it's internal, and sometimes it's a level or 2 levels removed. Think about our scholarship recipients, our students that go all around the world. We have a large community And it's not always just a member. It's the people that we affect. It's the projects that we support over the long term. That's part of our community. So our social media presence allows us to build that and to demonstrate it. Enhancing our public relations, our ability to communicate with newspapers, television, we have no local television presence, clearly. But you have more ability to tweet Chris Smith, by the way, or Gail Levering, or Carrie Benefield, who writes sports. She also covers education. As an example, if you use Twitter and you have something that the Press Democrat needs to know, the best person to reach is Carrie Benefield on Twitter. She'll get it to the right place, just like a switchboard, right to her desk. Receiving feedback. This is really important, and this can be how your festival is amazing and how one small tweet can make it go even further. That's a good thing. Most people expect that feedback is going to be negative. Most of the time, it's actually positive. It's how much we love the festival, how much you helped us, how much your donation mattered to us. Conversation is important because if all you do is stand up and say, we are Rotary, and this is what's important to us, and this is what we do, and don't allow people to speak back to you, that's not approachable, that's not community-based, and that doesn't really work with what we're about. We need to hear what people care about, what's important to them. We also want to know what types of organizations that we may be able to partner with. What's a good fit? If we don't have conversation, then we don't get the other half of that situation. Driving leads. I left the word leads because I took this slide from a for-profit conversation. But does anybody want to guess who, I'm going to back up for 1 second. I consider one of our largest challenges to be membership. No matter where you go, assembly, conference, meeting, visioning, it doesn't matter where we are. Membership is always center of the table, and it very well should be. So if we need to continue to bring in positive people that are motivated, that want to make a difference in the world, where are those leads? Does anybody, it doesn't matter what your answer is, what do you think is the most qualified group of people that we could be targeting? Younger. I hear younger. Anybody else?
New businesses.
New businesses. Anything else you want to throw in there? I say we have two areas, Interact and Rotaract. They're already a part of the system. They already understand it. They're already vetted. What happens, I find, is that between Rotaract and Rotary, they vanish. Why? One of the objectives of the social media that I run for my club, I run Instagram, so Facebook, YouTube, etc. But I focus mostly on Instagram right now for one major reason. This is where Rotaract and Interact internationally are spending the majority of their time. I'm connected to about 1,700 clubs, districts, Rotary clubs, Rotaract and Interact. It's been a curation process. I open up to see who they're following and then follow anybody that's Rotary associated. They don't realize they're a part of Rotary. They don't really get it. They don't understand that it's a long process. I actually, when I was in college, I was a cater waiter at the Flamingo. So I sat through Santa Rosa Downtown, Santa Rosa East every week for a year. So the funny thing is that I knew that Rotary for me, I was 1920, that Rotary for me was in the future, that it happened when it was right for my growth and my development. So it wasn't one of the first groups that I joined. It was much later in the process. But they need to understand that long-term vision, and this is difficult to express to you, what your life will be like in 40 years. But I want to encourage us to build more strong relationships, to reach out to our Rotaract and Interact, bring them into the center of the circle more frequently, and help them see the progression of what we're doing. They fall through the cracks as soon as Rotaract is over. So we want them to aspire to move up the ladder or move from category to category. They are our most qualified people. There are thousands of them. We just need to make sure we keep them. So that's an area that I want us to pay attention to as a whole, because they're already qualified and they're already ready. We just need to make sure we don't lose them. I'm regularly asked, what's the balance like? The balance for social media, this is is what I find to be true. I actually got this from Constant Contact, an email marketing service, but I use it and I make sure I say where I got it from. But this, I find, is the magic formula. So 70% of what you're sharing, whether it's Facebook, which is largely dominated by our current club members. This is generally used, Facebook's generally used for us communicating amongst ourselves, our supporters, finding a few people, but it's really kind of an internal communication, which is strange, but true. It also stands instead of our website. So when somebody's not a Rotarian, if they want information about us, they often get it by accident through Facebook, through their friends' feeds, etc. And 70% of what we're sharing, regardless of where it is, should really be of value. And what does that look like? Value is, there is a Santa Rosa Junior College dental hygienist day, where if you go to the JC, you can get free dental cleaning the entire day. That probably doesn't affect your club, may have nothing to do with your club. Redwood Credit Union has a shred-a-thon coming up. If it's valuable to your community, if it's useful to your community, there's a free seminar to learn how to apply for financial aid for college students. If it's useful to them, if it's valuable, you are seen as a trusted and reliable resource of information that doesn't benefit you. We can all smell the takers. The ones that only call us or reach out to us when they want something. Buy my ticket, come to my event, pay me money. They want to hear from you when it doesn't benefit you, and that is the majority of the time. There's a creek cleanup. We're going to be there. Come on down and join us. That is a little bit more promotion. It's a soft promotion, because I'm expressing that my Rotary Club does free cleanups, by the way. One thing, though, a lot of people that aren't Rotarians don't know is how much service clubs picked up the slack when the recession hit, and all of the social service programs were cut. Rotary, Kiwanis, Lions Club, After 2030, we all did a tremendous job of saving our communities. And I am also of the generation, just like the majority of you here, that we were taught not to toot our own horns. Guess what? We need to toot those horns. Now. So we need to find gentle ways to talk about it. But talking about the programs that are available for the citizens of the community. Did you know that this is available? By the way, this is a program that we support. Letting people know all of the programs that we're involved in, all of the people that we touch, but it should ultimately have value for them. The next, the 20% promotion is your Zydeco Festival. Absolutely. Knowing where your points of conversion are on your website. Join us, learn more about us, sign up for our newsletter, follow our social media, buy our tickets. Those are points of conversion, those are promotion. By the way, I think your Zydeco Festival could be really rocked out on your YouTube channel. I want to see individual artists really close. I have no familiarity with this music, but listening to the descriptions of each one of these musicians, I wanted to hear it. I wanted to see their style, I wanted to know who they are, I wanted to see somebody eating food and enjoying it. Video is the #1 way that people are reaching their information. And then fun. The hat. The song. I got a lot of joy out of singing that song. My club sang it for a year. We hated it. We sang the same song. It was God Bless America. I can't remember, I blocked it out. I got a completely different experience and I felt joyful and I was thinking to myself, wow, this really lifts my spirit. This is really cool. And I love to sing, and I don't sing very often, but the way I felt. Show us what you do. Show us who you are. Show us that you're human and you're real. And then we trust you more, want to approach you more. We want to be a part of what you're doing because I can feel it right through what you're doing. We can see tremendous amount of subtext. So I wanted to show you a couple of important trends. We're visually stimulated. Do you like my rotary gears? We can recognize important objects or familiar objects within 100 milliseconds. If I have to write it. Okay, so there's language differences, cultural differences, learning disabilities, vision problems, lighting problems. Think about how much effort it takes to read something. Show me a great picture of a guy wailing on his guitar. You don't have to tell me, I know. So it's important to understand that visuals are your best friend. When the web was black with green font that was blinking prompt, and then it was white with black font that was this big, we've now flipped the web upside down. It's almost entirely visual. Pretend that your visual is right on the bridge of your glasses. I want to see from your point of view. Your audience wants to see what it's like at the festival, what it's like at a creek cleanup, what it's like at a dictionary drop, because they haven't been there and they don't know. You know that feeling that we get when you deliver food or you build bathrooms in a place that's never had running water? We all have that moment where our heart just fills up. Remember when you guys raised so much money at Guys Can Cook? All the people sitting at the table with me were non-Rotarians, and I looked around at them, and they were blown away. That feeling that we get, everybody's is different. That's what I want to see. That's what is our job to capture and show what that feels like. Any photo that you've seen that has hit you in the heart, that's what that photo did. It expressed the passion. So our Rotary passion, we need to learn how to express that. Language is not important. Remember, I follow 1,700 clubs, and most of them I can't read caption. But I can figure out what they're doing. I read enough Spanish to be able to piece it together, but the Hungarians, the Russians, I got nothing. So all I have is a visual, and I can still figure out almost every time what's happening. So you really do need to tell the story visual. Young Rotarians are geared for visuals. They are not geared for language. So I'm using our Instagram feed to teach how to show it and how to describe it so that we have search engines and databases that can properly parse out that information to people that are searching for it. But we need to see it from your point of view. We need to see it from the Rotarian's eyes. So video really is for everybody. At this point, video is going to dominate by 2017. It'll be 75% of internet traffic. At this point, it's already dominating every channel that we're on. Facebook has video, Twitter now has embeddable video. They have a standalone channel called Vine that's 7 seconds. YouTube goes up to hours, a couple hours now. Facebook is pushing video so hard that you just can't miss it. It's an autoplay on most of your platforms. Instagram has 15 seconds. Video is the best out of all of them. The highest quality, but nobody watches video, nobody searches it. It's this big in comparison to YouTube. So if you want something to be found, it needs to be on YouTube. But video is much better quality for art though. Let me pick out a couple here. Oh, video is shared 1,200%. 1,200 times percent. Oh, I can never get that right. 1,200% more. There we go. Than links or text combined. It's the most shareable form of content. So if you show me what it looks like, what it feels like to be there, we can see it, we can feel it. You don't have to write it. It gets 92% of users share videos, and they get 2 times the engagement of photos. I already told you about the abandonment rate. So it's really important for us to learn how to tell the story, the moving story. So I wanted to give you a couple of examples that I found of what the visuals look like when somebody tells the story. This is high school Rotaract from South Africa. These young boys received gifts of supplies they needed, and if you can see their faces, the happiness and the joy, they're just bursting out of their skin, they're so excited. These come from, when you look at this black box, when I searched Google Images, I searched Rotary. By the way, when you search Rotary and you look at text, the #1 search that I got about a year ago was 404 cannot be found. Rotary International's website. What is Rotary? It's the #1 question that we get. So this was, I love this. I come from a flying family. And this says, flyers on a trip to Miami promoting Rotary Club. This is on Flickr. Flickr is owned by Yahoo. It's the #1 site for search engines. So if you put a photo onto Flickr and say, Rotary Club of Sebastopol Sunrise, raising money for our local schools, May 2015, guess what? It comes up in Google Images. This is actually my club. I didn't plant it. I just put it correctly into Flickr. This is an annual event we ran. It's Gary and the Samson. This is Dickinson, Tennessee, their dictionary drop. This is from Pinterest. All you have to do is title it accurately and give me a caption. It's that simple. This is a club from Mexico doing mural work. This is Instagram. And this is the United Nations Rotaract doing a food drive. And they shared with another club, they swapped pictures, and everybody shared each other's content, which is really the way this works. I think I have just one more. Instagram, this is Sunset Rotarians. Medicine Distribution Day in Guatemala. We expected 200 to 300 men, women, and children in need of various medicines. Guatemala, it's longer, but they received 3 times more people than they thought. This is an example of showing what Rotary does. These are all examples of showing what Rotary does that are all easily accessible. You know our story. Don't let anybody else tell our story. I don't care if we consider social media to be silly. If it gets us closer to people that care, to people that support, and people that believe, sometimes they need to see the story before they ask, what is Rotary and how can I get involved? These tools are available to you and you can use them any way that you choose. So, do I have time for a question or two?
How about afterwards?
All right, so thank you very much for having me.
Well, thank you very much. That was good. You filled your whole half hour, really. We have for you a bottle of Pinot for polio. John Vallejo made this just for us.
Excellent.
And a contribution to end polio will be made in Japan.
Thank you very much.
And also,
Yes.
in pick. And then read the last numbers.
Last 3 numbers, 380. Woo!
Go, pick again.
380.
380.
Pick again. Wasn't used.
Try again.
All right.
404.
392.
That's me.
Brand new card. Looking for this. Looking forward to this. No. But. One. Yay. Hey, there it is. Very good. Oh, we did the Richard. I did this for Marty. So Marty, for you. The door prize. We just did that. See, now I have too much. See, this guy, it's a door